Why do we play games? Is it for the graphics, the storytelling, the unparalleled game feel? No, why would you think that? It's so we can get to the end and tick them off our never-ending backlog, of course. The endings are the best bit, right? A pat on the head to say, well done, you've made it through everything this game has to offer, and you can go on your way feeling fully satiated in your endeavours. Except sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes the ending feels less like a pat on the head and more like a punch in the neck. So here are a list of the 7 most disappointing endings that weren't worth the effort it took to get them. Enjoy, and beware spoilers, of course, for the following games.
Here, at last. You know our story now. Of how we tried. Of how we failed. All our hopes extinguished. Save one.
Between Assassin's Creed 1 and Assassin's Creed 3, which is somehow 5 games, the series was all about hanging out with a bartender called Desmond Miles. Desmond was a pretty bad barkeep, as he spent less time clearing tables and more time lying down on them, dreaming of parkouring around various historical settings. First it was Altair during the Third Crusade, then came Ezio in Renaissance Italy, and then Ezio in Renaissance Italy, and then Ezio in, oh hey, Renaissance era Constantinople. Really mixed it up with that one. And then we got to Assassin's Creed 3 with new protagonist Connor, which was set during the American Revolutionary War. By Assassin's Creed 3, Desmond has launched his own exciting parkour career and is getting to grips with life as an assassin in the fight against the Templars. He's leading the resistance, and while Connor is preoccupied bopping around trees, displaying a level of daddy issues as yet unmatched in gaming, Desmond's story is the real focus of Assassin's Creed 3. How is Desmond going to save humanity? In this cave, apparently? Ah, Juno and Minerva. So glad you two could make it. Funny thing, I was wondering if you could help me save the world, maybe?
Show him then.
But he will not understand.
These 2 space ghosts inform Desmond that deadly solar flares are going to kill nearly everyone.
The ground will crack and spit fire into the skies. All the world will burn.
Then Juno and Minerva give Desmond 2 options: to let humanity die out almost entirely, only to be renewed and reborn with Desmond as its leader and god, or Desmond could just die to free Juno and let the world keep spinning without knowing how close it came to destruction.
It will happen in an instant. There will be no pain.
Neither of those sound ideal for a hero's journey that has spanned so far 5 games, but if I really had to choose, I suppose I'd pick the one where I become a god. And oh no, he's going to bloody touch the orb that frees Juno and kills him, isn't he? And that's a wrap on Desmond for this franchise. No, really. After Desmond touches the alien disco ball, all you get after this is a shot of solar flares enrobing the Earth and failing to kill off humanity, and then the credits rolling. 5 games worth of effort invested, and that's your payoff. To be fair though, all this is outside the usual job description of a bartender. Maybe we're being too harsh on him.
What's that?
A beacon
What's it doing?
communicating at superluminal speeds with the frequency of
Communicating with what?
the other installations.
Show me.
The first trilogy of Halo games are some of the best shooters ever made, with groundbreaking combat backed by a story and characters we cared about, and Halo 2 is the centerpiece. I mean, the literal centerpiece, in that it's right in the middle of a trilogy. The tricky thing about being the middle game is it has to set up the dramatic finale that will be the third game, while also having a satisfying ending all of its own. Did Halo 2 pull off that trick? Viewer, it did not. In many ways, Halo 2 is great. It fleshes out Cortana and Chief's connection, builds on the devastating events of the first game, and explores the Covenant's intentions. But then it just ends? After battling your way through Halo 2's epic final mission, striving to save humankind from the destructive power of the Halo, and mentally planning your special outfit for the victory parade back on Earth, the game ends more abruptly than this sentence that I'm Just as things are getting juicy, Halo 2 is over, and you're being served up a 2-minute cutscene that lets you know that the unexpected deactivation of the Halo has just put all the other Halos in standby mode, so now they're primed and ready to wipe out life across the galaxy, and Master Chief is zooming off to make that not happen.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Sure, thought players completing Halo 2 back in 2004. That's a good point to end the game and come back in 3 years. I, for one, don't mind a cliffhanger. Not disappointing at all. Hey, it was a sarcastic time. Eventually though, Halo 3 did come out and finish the fight, to everyone's relief. Even if Master Chief never did get that victory parade back on Earth. And we never did get to see his special outfit. I bet it's his power armor with a bow tie.
And when the Lamb broke the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of the martyrs, slain because of the word of God.
The identifying feature of a Far Cry game is the iconic villain at the centre of each story. In fact, they're the most important characters because they're what drive your protagonist to run far away and cry. Sorry, is that not where the title comes from? Certainly is when I play. Okay, well, all the same, while you're romping through the wilderness and killing hundreds, if not thousands of goons, your central aim is to thwart the plans of said villain and bring peace to fictional places such as the Rook Islands, Kirat, and Montana, USA. Where do they come up with these fantastical places? The twist in Montana-set Far Cry 5 is that the villain you've been battling is, unfortunately, absolutely 100% correct in his doomsday prophesying of the end of civilization, because at the end of the game, nuclear war breaks out.
It is finished, child.
Heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a great point. Also, we're all gonna die. Father Joseph Seed, a fanatical brainwashing cult leader, had always maintained that no matter what, this story would end in flames. And it does. As you get to the true ending of the story, a nuclear bomb goes off in Hope County and you're driving through a burning forest trying to save you and your friends. Sadly, it's not meant to be, as after a tree falls on your escape vehicle, Joseph captures you and declares that while you may have succeeded in decimating his flock, you will join him as part of his fanatical family. So you failed to stop the villain, and now you're in his apocalyptic cult.
You're my family. And when the world is ready to be born anew, we will step into the light.
And if you think that's a disappointing downer, that's the good ending. The alternative ending to Far Cry 5 is to leave with your friends when you're given the opportunity to stop meddling with Joseph's plans and admit defeat. But bad news, following this, your friends accidentally play the one track that turns you into a brainwashed killing machine before the game cuts to black, implying that, oops, you kill your besties.
What's wrong?
So sorry guys, that's my song. You know how it is, I gotta bust out all my best moves.
Hey buddy, glad you made it. I'm Bilbo Fiddlepie. I'm supposed to take you to Lisbeth, but she's not here anymore. She went hunting for bug snacks and she never came back. Everybody else went off on their own. But if you catch bug snacks for them, maybe they'll come back. Then you can ask them what they know and you can find Lisbeth.
The trailer for Bug Snacks was soundtracked with a delightful song from indie pop act Quero Quero Bonito, lulling everyone into a false sense of security. Because surely a game with music this cute about an island with bugs that look like snacks can only be wholesome and lovely, right? Wrong, nerds! The premise is you're a journalist visiting Snaptooth Island to document these fascinating creatures called bug snacks. You were invited by a researcher named Lisbeth, who has since gone missing, and now somehow it's your job to help out the island's Muppet-looking grumpus inhabitants as they feel abandoned and have a bunch of interpersonal issues.
Don't you want to come with?
No.
So off you pop to help them regain their confidence and get to the bottom of Lizbert's disappearance. Also, you feed them bugs.
Yeah. Ah, that's good eating.
I know you all really like to eat these things, but have any of you noticed that you're also becoming food? Oh, that's rude to point out, is it? Sorry to have mentioned it. So, helping the islanders with tasks will help them discover their lost independence with the power of friendship and... No, seriously, have none of you considered that eating these bug snacks is irrevocably altering your biology to the point that this guy is more snack than man? You're cool with that? Well, okay, that's fine. So eventually you travel into the centre of this snack-obsessed island in your hunt for Lizbert, and oh my god, she's become a food-based super mutant.
Oh, Lizbert, it's you! You're alive! Bilbo, you're here.
It turns out the adorable bug snacks are actually insidious parasites who exist to assimilate island residents into mindless foodstuffs.
This is the island's true form. It's bug snacks all the way down.
I mean, hate to say I told you so. Wait, do I? No, actually, I don't. On its own, this would be a sinister, maybe jarring twist ending for an otherwise whimsical adventure. But you don't have to love it to admit this was a capital C choice.
See? That wasn't so hard, right?
What really makes the finale a letdown is how the twist plays out in gameplay. In a thoroughly frustrating sequence, you have to rescue Grumpuses by killing bugs with what were once your bug collecting tools, and let me tell you, they are not fit for purpose. Worse still, if any of the bug snacks get too close, the Grumpuses will still eat them, potentially dooming themselves and funneling you into the bad ending. But hey, at least there are no checkpoints, so you will be replaying the entire thing if you still want to save these snacky idiots. And you know the kicker? The big twist of bug snacks is revealed in that Caro Caro Bonito song. You didn't even need to play the game. You could have just listened to the lyrics. That's the last time I play a game without listening to its title song, created by a trio who met on the internet in 2013 before forming a band with a hit single called Flamingo. Can't believe I fell for that old trick.
A funny thing happened to me as I was building this mountain. I'd have an idea for a new obstacle, and I'd build it, test it, and it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it easier.
Frankly, you are kidding yourself if you think any ending could possibly be worth putting yourself through the torture of developer Bennett Foddy's Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Sure, it's a clever meditation about the toil of life and the methodical beauty of trying a hard task over and over and over and over again until you've completed it. But if I wanted to watch a half-nude man repeatedly fail to climb a pile of trash, I'd watch the Woodstock 99 documentary.
Oof, sorry about that.
Rage games, such as this one, are developed with the simple aim of attempting to send you into a spiral of self-hatred as you try and try again at a frustratingly tricky challenge. In this one, as you fail and then get a little further, Bennett Foddy monologues at you because he is the literal devil.
Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
When you're struggling with Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy doesn't just let you sit there with your thoughts.
You cannot now believe that you will ever feel better. But this is not true. You're sure to be happy again. And knowing this, truly believing it, will make you less miserable now. Abraham Lincoln.
Bennett Foddy instead gives you his thoughts about creating Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, how you and him are the same in your pursuit of defeat. And even at the very beginning of the game, he tells you that no matter what, he will remember every mistake you make.
Don't worry, I'll save your progress, always. Even your mistakes.
Thanks, Bennett Foddy. Said it too many times now, it sounds weird. Your only reward for finishing this torturously difficult game, aside from a brand new vein popping out the side of your forehead, is watching your nude pot guy floating off into space and then the credits rolling. So So why was he here? Why was he in a pot? Why was he using a sledgehammer to climb? All questions that remain resolutely unanswered. The worst part is, beating Getting Over It doesn't really mean anything. Very few people have completed it, and unlike with something like Elden Ring, there isn't a universal understanding of how much effort you put into the game by fellow games enthusiasts, making it an almost entirely pointless struggle for the sake of struggle.
This thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mary Pickford.
If there is one thing to take away from this seemingly meaningless game, it's that you can get some sick delts from endlessly swinging a sledgehammer. Is this what they call CrossFit? I always suspected.
We're simple, folks. We want our stories to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Metal Gear Solid 5 delivers on 2 of those counts. The game lets you step once again into the sneaking suit of Big Boss, codename Venom Snake, a highly professional and specialised spy, soldier, and for a whole generation of gamers, smash character. Metal Gear Solid 5 had what you might describe as a troubled development, in that Kojima wanted to be left alone forever with infinite money, and Konami wanted to actually release a video game. As a result of this, Metal Gear Solid 5 starts strong and remains strong in the middle, but then fumbles the ball in the closing chapters, in that its plot leaves more dangling threads than a well-loved pair of jorts. The most major of these threads revolves around the game's ersatz final boss, Metal Gear Sahelanthropus, a bipedal mech created by Huey Emmerich and one of the greatest threats to peace the world has ever known. Naturally, you want to make sure something like that isn't used for evil, so once Snake defeats it in said boss fight, he and the Diamond Dogs destroy it completely, so that it can never fall into the wrong hands. Oh no, wait, they leave it lying around on one of their oil platforms, and then a couple of children steal it.
Goodbye, Father. I don't need you anymore.
One day they're playing in the yard, and the next they're piloting a nuclear-capable mech off into the sunset. This isn't the last you've seen of us, they seem to say as they fly off towards the horizon, which is ironic because that is absolutely the last you see of them in this game. Sure, Eli shows up later in the series as everyone's favourite whiny shirtless guy, Liquid Snake.
Snake! Did you like my sunglasses?
So likeable. But as far as what he got up to with Psycho Mantis, Sahelanthropus, and a helicopter full of child soldiers, Metal Gear Solid 5 leaves us none the wiser. Turns out that had Kojima been left alone forever with infinite money, like he asked, we would have found out. You see, on the Metal Gear Solid 5 Collector's Edition bonus disc, there are voice tracks, concept art, and partially completed cutscenes for an additional mission, which shows Venom Snake travelling to Eli's Lord of the Flies-style island to take down him and Sahelanthropus.
You don't get the last word, Father. I'll break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you!
All of this would have nicely tied up Eli and Snake's story, instead of leaving us with a massive cliffhanger, no resolution, and probably zero chance of ever seeing another Kojima Metal Gear game. Unless Konami relents on that whole leaving him alone forever with infinite money thing. Doesn't seem likely.
We reach your constellation.
This is all we've been working towards.
Jemison route looks good.
We've come to the beginning of humanity's final journey.
Prepare for departure.
To deter you from immediately trading them in the second you finish them, single-player games will often make sure there's something replayable about them. One such feature is the New Game Plus, where you're encouraged to play the game again for some reason or another. In the case of Starfield though, it's the ending of the story itself that calls for you to play a New Game Plus, or to put it more accurately in Starfield's case, a new game, with very little plus. Practically, New Game Minus. It's extremely rare that a game has a story reason for booting you into New Game Plus. In this case, it's because at the end of Starfield you find yourself in a bizarre sparkly sphere in the middle of the universe called Unity. You meet an alternative version of you who speaks poetically about what the Unity means and what reality is. And incredibly, the upshot of all this is, hey, why not go do the whole Starfield thing again right now? So the conclusion of the story is an in-universe do-over that sends you right back to the beginning of the game, but in a parallel universe that could be slightly different this time, but could just as easily be exactly the same. I haven't been this disappointed since RoboCop 3. They gave him a jetpack. Your ultimate reward is realising everything is interconnected, time is a flat circle, and becoming Starborn just means you get to go back and see Starfield again, and again, and again, forever. Come on Bethesda, you've done that gimmick before. We're already busy replaying Skyrim for the 50th time on a 7th different console. Get a new thing.
Oh, it's the ending. I've not prepared anything. Sorry. Hopefully this isn't as disappointing as those endings, right? Look, hey, it's not the end, it's fine. There's other videos here that you can go watch. And hey, there's still things to do. We've got activities for you. You can hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you want to go even further, you can join our Patreon, where you can then join our Discord and ask us questions. Like, Ellen, why weren't you prepared for the final bit of this video? To which I say, I'm sorry, I don't know.